Hello YouTube, Taylor Andrews of Taylor Andrews Fitness. This video will be about a topic that I get asked quite frequently. So whenever I train someone, I start at the same point every single time, which is breaking down some of the nutrition information that is extremely important to know. If you've ever read like a fitness blog, a forum, or a post on Instagram, you probably heard the word macros. That is short for macronutrients. It refers to the three basic components of every diet. Macronutrients are the largest class of nutrients. The three macronutrients are carbohydrates, the proteins, and the fats. If you get the proportions right, it makes dieting a lot more effective when just simple calorie tracking fails, just restricted calories in, calories out. The problem with just the traditional calorie counting is that it doesn't take into account what exactly it is that you're eating. It's just a number, just how many calories. And that's not a good thing to do. You can eat a lot of really highly caloric food and not get any of the macronutrients that you really need to help your body get to those goals that you're going for. And so understanding the macronutrients is crucial in meeting your fitness goals. Tracking them is where it really comes into play, but you need to know what each one is and its specific functions and how it works with your body. The first one I'm going to start with is the carbs. Carbs have a really bad rep from the people that don't fully understand what they do and how they work, that aren't really into the fitness world, haven't done much research, but they're extremely important, and in my opinion, they're probably the most important of the three, especially in the world of fitness. Carbs are the main source of energy that the body draws from. So when your body is tired, it needs an energy source. It goes from your carbohydrate intake first. Carbs, all they are, they're just sugar molecules. They're all broken down by the body, which turns into glucose. Glucose is a single sugar molecule that is used to fuel the cells in your body from your brain to your muscles. There are three types of carbs that are defined by the number of sugar molecules that they contain. There's monosaccharides, there's disaccharides, and there's polysaccharides. Each one is how many numbers. Mono is one sugar molecule. An example would be like glucose, galactose, which is like in milk, or fructose, which is in fruit. The second one, which is disaccharide, is for two sugar molecules. An example would be sucrose, which is like your table sugar, the lactose, which is in milk, and then maltose, like in a beer. The third one is polysaccharides. It's more than two, it's several sugar molecules. Examples are like, starchy foods like your pastas, your potatoes, your fibers. And the fiber is, the indigestible part of a plant that aids in digestion. Your main categories of your carbohydrates are your simple and your complex. The simple are the ones that are digested quickly. They're broken down at a fast rate to release the energy. Those are good like immediately post-workout, since it provides like an immediate raise in your blood sugar. The complex ones are the ones that are digested at a slower rate than simple. The slower digestion offers like a more continuous and stable flow of energy. So it's really good like a pre-workout fuel or later on in the day. So as the carbohydrates are broken down and they enter the bloodstream, they increase the amount of sugar or glucose into the bloodstream. So as you eat the carbs, your blood sugar level rises, which activates the hormone insulin to suck that excess sugar out of the bloodstream, and it goes into your muscles to help improve your performance. It's where your energy comes from. You're getting those like muscle contractions, those explosion. And what happens if your sugar storage tanks, your muscle, is full and you keep on eating carbs? That's when any of that excess glucose, the excess carbs you're taking in, you're eating too many, it's not used for energy and it gets stored as fat, that's why a lot of people associate carbohydrates with gaining weight. But it's just because you're not eating the right carb intake. You're eating way more carbs than you're burning. And so the human body is extremely smart. And so it knows like, I have so much extra energy, I'm going to save this and I'm going to put it in some part wherever you store your fat. And then I'm going to use that in a later time. So the more insulin sensitive your muscles are, the more readily they will take that sugar, and instead of having that sugar converted to fat, they're going to use it towards your muscles. And the way to get more insulin sensitive muscles is through strength training. It's very, very common. So a lot of people, they strength train more, and it seems like your metabolism gets better. That muscle, the more muscle you have, the more carbs you need because they're more insulin sensitive. Carbohydrates, they also spare the other nutrients like protein and allow these nutrients to carry out their intended functions. Because if you don't have enough carbs and your body needs energy, it's going to go to other sources and it goes to the proteins. And if it takes away from your proteins, that's not good because the protein isn't doing its job. So it converts the protein to glucose, and that puts you into a catabolic state, which is like a muscle wasting state. And it reduces your lean muscle mass. It's drawing your muscle away to take the energy, your hard-earned muscle, and it's the last thing you want. You know, you want to avoid that like the plague. You know, unless you enjoy like gaining fat, losing muscle, losing strength, and decreasing your metabolism, you know, then by all means avoid carbs. The second macronutrient I'm going to talk about is protein. Everyone associates protein with being something magical that turns everyone into massive bodybuilders. You know, you see one guy with a big tub of protein and you're like, oh man, that must be like steroids in there. That's why that guy's so massive. It's not. For one, protein powder isn't even necessary. It's just another tool. It's a good source of protein, like when you're monitoring your calories, because you know it's a lot low carb, low calories, lots of protein. It's easy. It's very convenient. You know, like you'll see somebody walk out of the gym with a protein shake, that looks normal. You see somebody walking around with like a giant chicken leg after the gym, that just seems really weird. You know, it's just easy. You know, like the powders, they'll have like additional amino acids mixed in, which are helpful. You know, but it's not necessary. You don't have to have it. Those amino acids, like, they aid in the muscle building process. I'll explain that in a second. You know, the powders are also a nice change as well. Like, you know, sometimes you just you'd rather have like a delicious chocolate shake, you know, and instead of eating 6 more ounces of meat. It's just not always the most fun. But delivering your body a constant supply of protein throughout the entire day is essential for optimum muscle growth. It puts your nitrogen balance in the positive, which leaves you away from that catabolic state, you know, so you're not using your hard-earned muscle as energy sources and losing it. So protein is essentially, it's a chain of linked units called amino acids, and the protein you eat is split apart into these amino acids, and that's absorbed into the small intestine, which is then rearranged and put back into the bloodstream, which is where it starts doing its job. So amino acids are like the building blocks of your muscles and body. You'll hear that very often. And so without these amino acids, it's impossible to build, repair, or maintain any muscle tissue that you have. Protein calories will be used as an energy source when the body is lacking fat or carbohydrate calories for fuel, which puts you into that catabolic state. It's the last thing you want, especially if you're into strength training and that's your main goal. Protein functions include the replacement of the old cells, they're repairing broken down tissues, and construction of new ones, which is essentially what you're doing when you weightlift. You know, you're damaging your body, you're damaging that tissue, and you're building the muscle up. So to get bigger, if you will. It helps with, you know, organ growth, and then, you know, your hair, your nails, your skin, all those things. You know, having proper amount of protein in diet, it helps reduce your soreness. So like sometimes the next day if I'm really sore, I can tell like, I didn't eat enough protein yesterday. So you need protein to help build muscle, but it can't do it without the help of the other macronutrients. So a lot of times people think like, oh, I want to get big, I got to go eat protein. You know, there's much more to it than that. It's not just go to wherever your vitamin store is and buy a massive tub of protein. The third macronutrient I'm going to talk about is the fats. Fats are the most misunderstood macronutrient of the three by far. Everyone thinks, they hear the word fat and they just immediately associate it with, I'm eating fat, that means I'm going to get fat. I can't eat this fat because it's going to go straight to my stomach. You know, that's not how it works. You don't go and eat a pound of protein and then, you know, after a workout, and then suddenly, I gained an exact pound of muscle. That's just not how it works. Fats, which are technically lipids, they are the most calorically dense macronutrient, which means they have the most calories per gram. I'll explain that more in another video. So of the 3 macronutrients, there's more calories per gram of fat than there is in a carb or a protein. So that means if you eat more fat, you're going to eat more calories, which means you're going to gain more weight. So it's not directly associated like that. It's just there's more calories in fat. That's what it comes down to. Fats have a lot of benefits that go towards just typical body functions that you don't really think about on a normal basis. You know, it increases your insulin sensitivity, you know, which reduces the inflammation. It helps support your thyroid function, which is essentially the body's regulator on your fat. So, you know, if you have a slower, weaker thyroid, you don't burn through your body's fat storages as well. They're composed of 3 different types of fats. There's the saturated, the polysaturated, and the monosaturated. The saturated is used by the liver to make cholesterol, which is involved in the production of the hormones of your body, which is extremely important. You know, you need to have the correct hormones. You know, your testosterone levels need to be correct. You know, your estrogen levels need to be intact. The polysaturated is the type that helps lower the other types of cholesterols. You know, or you're monitoring that your total cholesterol doesn't get too high. The monosaturated helps lower the LDL type of cholesterol, and then it keeps intact your bad cholesterol without lowering the HDL, which is the good cholesterol that you need. There's trans fats as well, and those have consistently shown the risk of coronary heart disease, and so a lot of people, you know, you don't really want your trans fats. You want to monitor those and keep those down. Those are the 3 macronutrients and some information about them. And hopefully after watching this video, you're able to retain a lot of that information and have a much better understanding of how crucial the macronutrients are, how well you need to know them, what exactly it is that they do for your body. I'll make a video in the future about how to track them specifically, along with tracking calories, how to determine the proper amount that you need, counting your macros. I'll make a video on that because I get a lot of questions about that as well, because that's really important. Tracking is vital to having success in your goals, whether it's putting on X amount of muscle or you want to lose X amount of pounds of body fat. I hope you enjoyed the content of this video, and you retain that information. I know it was a lot. Tell you what, if you want the detailed information, I have, documents that I wrote down for this video, and if you want that, all you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and then just send me an email and ask for it, and I'll send it to you ASAP. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like the video, tell everyone you know about it. Go out and talk to strangers, tell them about it, and I'll see you next time.